Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices, and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Recently, I did a video about the 2022 Spiel des Jahres Game of the Year in Germany Awards, and I talked about the three main games. I also talked about the ones that were for the Kennerspiel, which is the sort of more gamer enthusiasts. Now, I went through that prediction and stuff, and I basically went on record, and if you haven't seen that video, you can click up here and watch it. I basically said that I want Cascadia to win. I think it's the best game on the list, and I think it might be the biggest landslide in Spiel des Jahres history. But I also gave the caveat is that I had not played Top 10 yet. I had read the rules, I had looked about it, I kind of knew what the game was about. I said it does sound like it's fun, and I'll do a follow-up video. Well, the game's not out in North America or in English anywhere, so I ordered a French copy, and it came in, and we had plenty of chance to play it with gamers and non-gamers. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick overview of how Top 10 works. We'll talk about that game a little bit, then we'll revisit my predictions and what I said during that last video of the Spiel des Jahres. Top 10 is the Spiel des Jahres nominated party game where you're trying to be able to get through 5 rounds with having some unicorns left, because every time you guys screw up, this is a cooperative game, it'll poop. And if you have all poops and no unicorns left at the end of the 5th round, you lose. But if you get through with at least 1 unicorn, you win. It's fully cooperative. Now, I have the French version because you can't. There's not an English version, and it's not out in North America, so I bought this from France. So I'll show you some translations. Each round of the 5 rounds, a card will be drawn, and there's 2 situations there. And so for those that can't read French, you can use your Google Translate app with the camera, and it will translate it for you. It's quite amazing. For example, this is, you can either choose tap with an imaginary hammer on an imaginary nail, from soft to loud, or you're received at the Hogwarts School of Sorcering, and you arrive the first day with your sorcerer's pet, which is, and you make it up from 1, I'm not proud, to, hey, I show it off to the max. And so the captain for the round will decide which one of these 2 situations is happening. Then each player is going to be secretly dealt a top 10 card. These cards range from 1 to 10. There's only 1 of each number, so of course there's going to be some cards left over, more if there's less players. Here we have a 5-player game set up. Now first the captain's going to look at everyone's going to look at theirs, but the captain will look, maybe as a 5, or maybe as a 1, for example. Now again, in this, let's say he picked the one about, you're going to tap an imaginary hammer on an imaginary nail. And if I did 5, then I want to do it kind of medium. If I want 1, I'm going to lightly tap. If I have 10, I want to slam it into the table. So everyone, first the captain goes, then everyone else goes in any order. And you're trying to sort of like watch what people do and slot yourself in. If someone does something that's pretty strong, but you have a 9 or a 10, you're going to try to outdo them. If someone did something really strong and you have an 8, you're going to decide, do they have a 9 or a 10, or is that really just them having a 7 overdoing it? So you got to figure it out. Once everyone has done their thing, the captain will choose, and they're trying to go in order. They'll be like, you know what, let's say the captain was this one. They'll go, you are the lightest one. Great, 1. As long as you go in ascending order, you're good. Then he might say, you know what, this person here was next. And we go, 4. Okay, that's pretty good. You just want to keep ascending. Now let's say he says, hey, this player was probably next, and they flip this over. Oh no, it's a 3. It's lower than the 4. So in this case, because they screwed up, it'll flip this over again. If you ever run out of unicorns, the game ends, and you're trying to get through 5 rounds having a unicorn left. There's 1 of these for each player. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting. There's more strategy than you would think, because the captain now needs to start over. So they're going to pick a card. Now if they think this player's a 10, then they can go here, then here. But if they're not really sure, they want to go down to the lowest one, because then it gives them the most, the most bandwidth to be able to go higher. So maybe they're like, you know what, okay, we're going to go to me. I have a 5. I think you were higher than me. Good, we did it. So, but sometimes this decision's not obvious. You might try to get someone, a little bit higher, depending on how many, what numbers you think are out there and how many players there are. That's pretty much it. You try to get through 5 rounds with having at least 1 unicorn left. So let me show you some of the other little situations. Like, some of them are acting and doing certain things like, hey, mime, you're entering the sea from it's very cold to it's very good. Or take a card from the game, hand it out to another player, and showing up, this is my honorary club card of not very glorious to too classy. Or maybe you'll be naming your rock bands from soft to ones that sort of really shred it. Or you cheat in class and you hid a cover on you, so you got to mime how you look at your cheating from the least convenient to the most convenient place. Or maybe Batman wants to replace Robin to fight villains, create a new Batman and blank duo from worst to best. Or what does the proverb in the Chinese sort of fortune cookie that you just ate say, from the simplest to the most difficult to understand? Or the round leader, the captain, never knows what to do on a Sunday morning. Advise them as an activity from least enjoyable to most enjoyable. Or you've trained your dog and it's crazy, now he can complete blank. So do it from the least amazing to the most amazing. Or at the end of the movie you're watching, how does the big bad, character die from extremely stupid way to the extremely classy way? Or your boss announces a change in working conditions. Give us one ranging from worst to better change. Or look at another player straight in the eyes and tell him why you're leaving him, from a dumb reason to a very good reason. Or where would the captain take his lover to dinner, from the least impressive to the most impressive. So that's pretty much it. All right, well, there's top 10. This game definitely creates fun and laughable moments, and those moments help connect people together, which is the main reason why I, play board games. It's my whole thing of the channel, breaking down barriers and growing relationships through board games. This helps you do that. For example, in the last game I played with my family, the thing was, it was the tortoise and the hare, and the hare retired, and they were trying to bring in another animal to beat the tortoise. And from slowest to fastest, you're supposed to come up with an animal. My aunt said snake. And I was like, oh man, snakes actually are pretty fast. If you ever watch some of them like really slither fast, some of them can actually move pretty darn fast. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's a 5. So I said sloth because I had like 2. Well, come to find out, she thought snakes were the slowest animals. She had a 1. And we were like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Snakes aren't slow. She's like, oh my gosh, they're so slow. So we were arguing, having a good battle. We're bringing up snake slithering videos on YouTube. And we're laughing at each other and having fun. And those are the types of things that happen in this game. Memorable moments. I will always give her crap about snakes not being slow. They're actually kind of fast if they want to move fast. Anyway, those are the types of things this game does. They have plenty of different situations to choose from. Tons of cards, double-sided. The best part of this game, actually, in addition to that, is choosing the order of the players. This game, I'm not going to say this is a strategic game, but as a very, very light party game, this game definitely has more strategy than you'd expect from such a light party game. Where you're trying to be like, oh, shoot. Oh, man, I didn't expect you to be that high. Now, like, either I have to think if there's really someone higher than you, or I got to go all the way down and try to get the lowest person that I don't think I've selected yet. And do I want to press my luck and try to keep going up that higher, even though I just went higher than I expected? Can I keep going up those ranks, or do I drop down? There's some interesting choices there for sure. So I definitely really enjoyed this game, even more than I expected to, and I actually thought I'd like it. On the negative side of things, the name, Top 10, it's kind of generic. It's kind of misleading too, because a lot of Top 10, you think you're going to be doing Top 10 lists. Sure, there's 1 to 10, but it's not like you're doing a top 10 list. So I really think they should have come up with a better, more interesting, less generic name for the game. And also the big negative here is it's not yet available in North America or in English. So you'll have to order it like I did from France or somewhere else. And when they do translate it, I hope that they make things more specific to that area. Kind of do it by region as well. So overall, I really like the game. So now let's get back to the thing here, the thing at hand, the Spiel des Jahres. Again, I said that Cascadia is probably going to be the biggest landslide in the history of the Spiel des Jahres. Knowing what the Spiel des Jahres has said is the game of their Spiel des Jahres lately, with just one and very light games like that, I personally still think Cascadia should win, and I still really do think it will be a pretty big victory. However, after playing this and thinking about it a little bit more and seeing how light some of the games have been lately with Spiel des Jahres, if this gets Spiel des Jahres, the actual winner, instead of being outraged, I'm actually just going to go, yep, I get it. This is the game for everybody. This is the game that you go to a grocery store in Germany and this is what they want everyone to have on their table. It connects people, it's got a wide player count, it's fun. So if this wins, I no longer will be throwing outrage and saying cancel the Spiel des Jahres like I would have been a couple, before I played this. But now I'd say, okay, I get it. Not my choice. I totally get it. That's what they're going for. So that's the big difference. It's a pretty big change in my opinion just after finally playing this game. So if you haven't played it and you think this is for you, there's ways to get it, or I'm sure that there's going to be some type of North American version coming out at some point, hopefully by the end of the year, but I haven't seen anything announced yet. So that's it. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships with board games, and helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing, thematic, premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge for their latest Game Topper 3.5 Kickstarter campaign.